What's going on, YouTube? Uberman here. So I put out a video the other day trying to explain how these time slots work, and you know, I think I did a decent job describing it to you guys, but I'm certain that there are still people out there that are not understanding it. In fact, I had one person that's local that watched it, and I feel like I could have done a better job explaining it. So I want to try to do that in this video. So basically, this is another video regarding explaining the new rates and the guaranteed hours and how this all works. So let's start with, this video only applies to you guys that, number one, got your rates cut. Okay? They cut rates in 49 cities across the US. Obviously, Uber is in well over 49 cities in the United States. So I would say the majority of people did not get their rates cut like we did. So if you didn't get a rate cut, this does not apply to you. If you got your rates cut, but Uber is not offering minimum guarantee hours, this is not for you. This only applies to people who A, got their rates cut, and B, was sent an email from Uber explaining that the new rates are in effect and that there is an hourly guarantee associated with this cut. If you're not going to get the hourly guarantee, there's no point in watching this video. This isn't for you. If your rates didn't get cut, this isn't for you. This is specifically for people who got their rates cut and who are being offered a incentive program. Basically, it's a subsidy, because you're not going to make the minimum guarantees at 80 cents a mile. I mean, you're not going to do it. I've been doing this for 3 days now, and I have yet to come close. So just not going to happen. So if you're being offered this subsidy, this is how it works. You've got to understand this, because if you don't, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot. You're not going to get your hourly guarantee. It is, honestly, it's very simple. But like I said in my previous video, it's taken me quite some time to wrap my brain around it. I don't know why, and it's not just me, okay? There's other people out there that's having a really hard time grasping this. I don't specifically know why, but I want to try to do my best to clarify. I want you guys to understand how this works, so that if you're in one of these affected markets, you can make the most of it. Now, I've got this highly sophisticated chart here, all right? I worked really hard on this. These are your time slots, all right? I'm going to leave this up here for a minute, so if you want to write it down, or if you just want to look at it as I go along, okay? Also, bear in mind, in Oklahoma City, we're offered $12 an hour off-peak and $22 an hour on-peak, okay? There are only 2 peak time slots. I did not put them on here because I'm trying to keep this fairly simple for everybody. I want to get the majority of the time slots are going to be your off-peak. I want to clarify those before we go into peak hours and all of that crap. I want you to understand how your off-peak works. So as you can see, it's very simple. You have slot A, slot B, and slot C, okay? I started slot A at midnight because every day starts at midnight, right? A new day begins at midnight. So from midnight to 6 a.m., this is one guaranteed time slot. This is an off-peak time. This is an off-peak time. This is an off-peak time, okay? These are all going to be off-peak, $12 an hour. Basically, you're offered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week guarantees. These are all off-peak. These are all $12 an hour. So Monday, let's say, 12 to 6 a.m., $12 an hour. 6 to 5 p.m., $12 an hour. 5 p.m. to 12 a.m., $12 an hour. That technically would be $11.59, because at 12 a.m. you start back at slot A. You get the point, though. You know, I made this in the car, so, you know, sorry. Okay, so you cannot mix and match your slots. You know, you can't work, say, 4 hours here and 1 hour here, or 3 hours here and 2 hours here, and mix your averages, okay? These time slots each come with a reset. That's why I wrote reset, because at midnight it resets, at 6 it resets, and at 5 p.m. it resets. What I mean by reset is during each one of these slots you have to maintain an average. Okay? Uber requires 3 things per time slot. You have to maintain a 90% acceptance rating. If you do not accept 90% of the pings that come through your device during each of these time slots that you've chosen to work, you will not get paid your minimum guarantee. You have to be online 50 minutes per hour in each one of these time slots that you're working if you want to get paid. You also have to take an average of 1 customer per hour during each slot that you have worked. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, and this is what I want to clarify. Let's do evening. Okay, let's say, I mean, you can work all of these if you want to. There's no limit to how many hours you can work. You can work as much as you want. But let's just say you want to work from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Okay, let's just make it really simple. You work from 7 to 10. You log in at 7, you log out at 10. All right? That means you had to have taken 3 runs. Even if they're just base fare $4 runs, okay? That's $12 worth of runs that you took. But you will get paid $36 minus Uber's 20% commission, assuming you accepted 90% of all of the trip requests, you were online 50 minutes per every hour that you were online, and you averaged 1 trip per hour that you were online for. So if you were online for 3 hours during this time slot, you have to maintain an average of 3 runs for the 3 hours that you worked. It does not matter how you acquire those runs, or when, I should say. If you got 3 runs in your second hour, but you had no runs your first hour and no runs in your third hour, since you still have 3 runs, that gives you an average of 3 rides per the 3-hour shift. You have to have 1 ride per hour average. So hopefully that clarifies that. And here's the other thing, okay? Let's say you work the same 3 hours, okay? You work from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Let's say you took 2 runs and you missed out on your last one, okay? You didn't get the third to get your 3 hours at your minimum guarantee pay. Let me tell you what happens. You don't get paid for the 2 hours. They don't do that. They don't give you 2 hours and just cut off the third one and not pay you for it. You don't get paid for any of it. Okay, if you put in, this happened to me the other day. I'm pretty pissed, but I'm learning. I'm experimenting with the system. I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't so that I can make a final review video in a week or so and really tell you guys how this works. I'm out here busting my ass, quite literally. I will be working 7 days a week, different times, different slots, trying to figure out how this works and the best way to do this. But you've got to understand, if you work like I did, I worked 5 hours, okay? I worked 5 hours in this time slot. 5 hours. I got 3 runs. I was 2 runs short from getting paid $60. You want to know what I made instead? $22. I got paid out $22 for 5 hours of my time. You do not get to be online for 5 hours, take 3 runs, and still get paid $12 an hour for the 3 runs for 3 hours. It doesn't work that way. You have to have an average of 1 run per hour that you are online. If you are short by even 1 run, even if it's just 15 minutes, 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. If you are short 1 single run to average 1 trip per hour you're logged in, you lose the entire pay at minimum rates. Okay? I really hope you understand that. I can't do much more to explain it any better. I'm doing the best I can here, guys. I know this chart sucks, but you've got to understand, at midnight you get reset and you start from scratch, okay? All of your averages that you had are gone. at 6 a.m. They reset again, you start from scratch. 5 p.m. they reset yet again, you start from scratch. Each time slot begins a whole new average. So you have to start over. You have got to keep track of which time slot you were working, what time you logged in, what time you logged out. Guys, I do it over here. My mileage log. Okay? This is my mileage log that I use for taxes at the end of the year. This is obviously 2015. It's a new year. This is 1 week's worth of logs. I put on here, when I log in to go to work, I've got the time. So I know what time I logged in, and I know what time I logged out. You can use that to see how many hours you worked. And then if you're not keeping track of your runs because you're in the car running, you can always go through your partner app, or you can go online, it doesn't matter, and you can see how many runs you took, what times you took them all, and then you can average that out. And you can find out if you hit your average or not. I accept 100% of my runs, so there's no question about that. My phone is on constantly. I do not turn my device off while I'm working, so there's no question that I'm online 50 minutes out of every hour. So the only thing I have to focus on is maintaining 1 trip per hour that I'm online. Now let's get into peak hours, okay, because that changes things. It doesn't change things much. All that changes is the pay, and the times on these slots change. I probably shouldn't have put this up yet. So peak hours change things. These are peak hours for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm going to say Friday. But Friday changes, Saturday changes, and Sunday changes just a little bit. Instead of them resetting the clock at midnight, okay, it still starts at 5 p.m. Okay, so this is the same. Friday, your new time slot starts at 5, but it doesn't end until 3 in the morning. Okay, that's the only difference. Friday, you will run from 5 p.m. and your slot will end at 3 a.m. Saturday morning. And then Saturday, your time slot again resets at 5 p.m., but it also does not reset until 3 a.m. Sunday morning. Obviously, Sunday morning, your time slot changes instead of being at midnight because basically the prime rates are in effect until 3 a.m. Sunday, Sunday you run back into your regular rates from 3 a.m. until 6 a.m. Okay, that's the only difference. The only difference. You go into your basically prime time rates where it's $22 an hour in my area. Like I said before, this varies everywhere. You may not even have it, so check with your local Uber partner support. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, these change just a little bit because you're in prime time. I mean, I know prime time's supposed to be a Lyft thing, but anyway, it's your guaranteed premium hours where you're getting paid more than you get paid during normal hours. So instead of ending at midnight, they run until 3 a.m., and then your regular rates start from 3 a.m. through your regular till 6 a.m., and then it starts all over again. You get what I'm saying? That's the only difference, guys. This video is running way over. I really hope I'm able to help you. I hope you understand this. You've got to keep track of your runs. You've got to keep track of your time slots and make sure that you know that you're resetting, and you've really got to work to find a busy place or something to get those runs in. And then, if you want to, go somewhere you know slow. Get to a busy area. If you're going to work 5 hours, 6 hours, get to a busy area, knock out those 6 runs. Then you can bounce, go find somewhere that's a slow area. Go home if you live in an area that's not busy. Just go home. Stay logged in. You've got your 6 runs. If you get a few more on the way, that's great. If not, you're still going to get paid your minimum guarantee for the hours that you were online. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there. Uber on. Always, always, if you've got a question, feel free to hit me up. I really try hard to respond, within a few hours of you guys asking questions. I appreciate you. I really do, and I hope that you can continue making Uber work.